We've all gone for a load recently about what it is to celebrate life. You saw my name. My name is Mano Shanmuganathan. Shanmuganathan is not Irish. It's quite phonetic. And in my time of being a neurosurgeon here in Northern Ireland, I've had all kinds of names. My name has been Dr. Sam Macanathan, wee Sammy, and more recently I've been Mr. Shane McGuinness. So there I'm thinking I've made it here. And it's all quite phonetic as well. So I'm a consultant neurosurgeon, so I look after patients that Artem bashes up. I look after patients who have gone through really bad traumas in their life involving their brain and spine. And my reason for being in Northern Ireland is I'm one of 2 paediatric neurosurgeons. So we look after the kids with the worst things that can happen to their brains and spines. But in 2019, I ended up doing something quite extreme. It wasn't 30 days, it was 35 days, and it was brutal. It was brutal. So what did I do? I was on a Channel 4 show called Treasure Island. Treasure Island was with this guy, Bear Grylls, where he picked us up, 12 of us, dumped us on an island, and left us for 35 days. No food, no water, no fire, no shelter, nothing. Nothing. And this was out in Panama, an island in Panama called Bayonetta, and we were dumped around in that corner and left. Off you go. For 35 days, we were left there and we were said, right, what are you going to do? So we were given a knife, not a surgical knife. I haven't tried this on a brain yet, but yeah, I'm not going to try it. So that was our knife. We were given 2 knives. And we were given 5 litres of water and said, off you go, do this. But this was different. You've seen Survivor, you've seen Treasure Island, you've seen all of these other things. What they did on Channel 4 this time is not go Love Island, not go Big Brother, they went dark, they went bad. So us over here, we all started up. On the island was a Lord Ivor Mountbatten. There was a 75-year-old lady. There was a grandmother of, the 75-year-old was a grandmother. There was builders. There were people of all society dumped. But what they did on this island is throw in £100,000. How did they do it? A helicopter flew over. We had no food, no water, nothing. Helicopter flew over and they dumped a parachute somewhere in the middle of nowhere with £10,000, £20,000 worth of money in a big yellow kind of basket thing. Off it went, into the middle of the jungle. Now came society. What do we do as society now? Do we share it? Do we keep it for ourselves? But we haven't got food. We haven't got water. So what do you do then? Do you hang around and run off with someone else and find the money, sneak the money, keep the money? But you haven't got any food. You haven't got any of these other things. So now you play with people's minds. And this is society at play. So what we discovered when I was there, day 3, we'd rock up on there. And I have the privilege of being the first person to find water. How did we find water? There was a dank puddle about the size of this stage. It had things crawling in it. It was dark, it was brown, it wasn't like our water here. It was horrible. But it was clean. Well, not quite clean, because what you had to do was find the water, and when you found it, it was incredible. Because you knew your 5 litres are going. They've gone. And now you've got this water. And then you have life. Celebrate life because you have water. You took your socks, and you filtered through your socks or your trousers or your shorts, you filtered it, and then what factor do you need to make that water pure or clearer? You needed fire. You needed fire, so we got smart. We have glasses, you've all seen that. Took the glasses, 40 degrees of heat, put it underneath the sun, magnified, bang, fire. Fire, water, life. It meant that we were like this dude. We were buzzing now. So we now have fire. We've got warmth. It's warm, but we've got warmth. We have water, and we have now water we can drink. It was brown, it was dank, it was dirty, but now it is cleaner. So in life, we went through that hardship and drew to a more positive place. In it, we also had to go out hunting. I'm a boy from North London, yeah? And hunting, yes, I had a knife. Yes, we did some crazy stuff. London's quite bad for knife crime here, but it's a bit different here. We found fishing nets, and the reason why I put that picture up there is the pollution on an island. We have this set idea that we are in this paradise, this amazing place, but what actually happens is that happened. That's the reality, where pollution has just come about. Any manner of bad stuff, flip-flops, random shoes, all kinds of weird bottles with weird yellow-looking water. Who knows what it was? Yeah, we drank it. No, yeah, so you did kind of mad stuff on it. But what that picture up there was a real highlight. For what someone's pollution was our gain. When we worked with it, we worked out how to make things with these aspects. We found nets. We found nets, and in doing so, we started to catch fish. When you catch fish, you have the sea out there with its abundance, and we can then claim it. Then we're able to celebrate life again. But like everything in life, there is danger, there is hardship, there is hungry and being damn hungry. 100 calories or less. I'm sure Artam's had to cut and do all kinds of stuff. He's had to lose some serious weight. 35 days on here, I dropped a serious amount of weight, which you will see. But what you had on this island were everything that was transpiring to hurt you, to harm you, to make life difficult for you. Sharks, ants, sandflies, killer bees. You were so dehydrated. You had about 100 calories if you could find it, and you were able to go after it. You had a sun that made you darker than anyone else ever, and I'm pretty dark here. I mean, it was mad. You had snakes, everything there. You can't picture it, but my hand was absolutely, my whole body was ravaged with it. But in it also, we had friendship. We had a group that came together from all walks of life that were able to meet together and work through aspects of this. So we were an amazing group that we're all still in contact, from the Lord to the grandmother, from the neurosurgeon to the builder. We came together, and we came together to work out what it is to be together in the hardship, realizing the effect of money as well. So what would you all do if something came down with 20 grand? Would you keep it, would you not? But you need to eat, you need to live, you need to do stuff. So it tested us. But this was what I was like. I had my knife when I started. I went from 92 kilograms to 68 kilograms. I'm looking at Artan because he knows what it's like to go up and down on weight. So I was described as being an African prisoner of war. In 35 days, we were in a permanent state of ketosis. So our body was basically eating the fat and everything else amongst it there. We stank. We stank. But I tell you what, when I came off that island, that's what I looked like. And it was one of the things that made you rethink about what it is to celebrate life. What is it to eat food? When we were on the island, I found a pineapple. A pineapple. We got the pineapple, we cut it up, and we shared it amongst so few of us. But we ate it, and I'll tell you what, it was an explosion of energy. An explosion, because we hadn't eaten. So when you do not have, and you then have, wow, you remember, you celebrate life. So in doing all of those things, how did this affect me? This actually helped me drop a ton of weight. A ton of weight. It helped me have to go to Suitors and buy some new clothes. I had no clothes that fitted me. I went from a cholesterol in the high 9s to dropping my cholesterol to a much more healthier state. My blood pressure went from 195/90 high down to 120/80. So massive radical change happened to me in my control alt del time period. So in doing that, things changed. Life changed. Things became different to me. So then it comes to that was an amazing experience, but like everything, life has its hardships, its amazing aspects of it. But what do we then do with it? I came back home, and I took on my role as a neurosurgeon. But all of a sudden now, as a neurosurgeon, a pediatric neurosurgeon, I became sharper, I became faster, I became with clarity of thought. Those that have watched Matrix, and everything slows down when they're doing. When I was operating in a way that just made sense. It just worked. And that came from that clarity of thought and understanding of who I was. And what I didn't have for those 35 days to what was important to me now. So, this is Patrick. Patrick's an amazing guy. When we talk about celebrating life, you think again, what does it mean? Patrick had a brain tumour. I took out his brain tumour in the back of his head. It all went very well, no problems, no issues. Patrick was buzzing. He comes back to clinic. He comes back to clinic to see me. I'm delighted, the scar looks good. We like scars, this is good. He's looking at it and he says, Dr. Mano, can I just say, as part of my recovery, I got a dog. I'm like, oh, all right, a dog. Okay, got a dog. He got a pug dog. Do you know what, Dr. Mano? Meet Mano the pug dog. Now, when you think about how we go on about life, we have the celebration of life, and we have the legacy in what we do as well. So Patrick and Mano the pug are celebrating life. As Mano the dog goes around the park and like poos somewhere or does anything, this guy is like, Mano, stop pooing. Stop shagging that person's leg or whatever, yeah? I'm amazed by the fact that there is a dog called Mano. An ugly pug dog called Mano, but wow, legacy. Celebrate life. This is where it gets harder. My job is hard. It's hard for those that I'm around. The young kid that I've got holding in, he's actually got a scar across the top of his head. At about 2 months of age, he was diagnosed with a horrible malignant brain tumour. It was nasty. We discussed him at various meetings and people said, we probably shouldn't operate because he's too small. He'll probably die on the table. Bad things are going to happen to this kid. I took a really simplistic view. Well, what's the option? The kid is going to die. We have to do something. We have to do something. So we operated on young Callum. And Callum got through this incredible operation. I will always remember the dad, Graham, who follows Gary and loves Gary so much and loves this, loves Think Network. What Graham said to me was, I want him to get to Christmas. Get him to Christmas, man. Dr. Mano, he's very Dr. Mano, get him to Christmas. We operated on this kid. We got him through a really nasty, horrible operation. He got through it. He had to have further treatments. He got through it. He got through to his first Christmas, which was amazing. Lewis's brother decides, you can't read it, he wants to be a doctor like Callum's doctor. Again, the things that we do, in all that we have an influence of all that around us. We have to remember that in how we go about things. Not just for the child who is sick, but those around. And that's very important. But this story, I'd love to say, has a happy ending. Callum had a remission and a relapse of a new brain tumour. And we operated, and Dad said to me, get him through, please. He's still with us, he's in amongst the most significant treatments, but I'll tell you what, they are celebrating life because they have the opportunity to do so when we around can get caught up in all of the things that catch up our time, it takes up our brain thoughts. This family wanted Callum to get to Christmas. He got through it. The second one, they wanted to get to the third. He may or may not, and I pray and hope he does. But that family are celebrating life. And that comes back to where we are in this talk. The final bit of this. This is gruesome. I have no apologies for the life we lead and what is the reality of our lives. This is a child who, at antenatal diagnosis, the ultrasound went on, and Mum was told there's a significant brain abnormality here. You need to abort the child. Mum, being this incredible lady who just said, no, I don't accept that. Don't accept that. But you should. What about quality of life? What about how the child will be? What about all the hardship you're going to go through? There's no point. There's no point. I'm the doctor. I'm telling you, there's going to be no point in this. Mum gave birth to young Carly. Carly has brain coming out of the front of her skull, where there was a defect, where this brain protruded out. It's gruesome. It's horrible, but I have no embarrassment to show you this, because this is life. This is real. This was a bit of brain that was functioning, coming out, and affecting this child. Carly's mother got in contact with our team, my team, and we discussed this. And I kind of came to a really simple conclusion. If you don't do it, well, what's going to happen? Let me consider doing something, because if we do this, will we make this child, for whatever time, for how they are, their life a little bit better? So, like most things, we take a risk. Medicine's a funny thing. You can't sometimes take risks. You can't do these things sometimes. But we took a risk. And we took a risk because, for me being in Ireland, in Northern Ireland, something really apparent came to me. This pathology is not seen anywhere else, really. Because at the time, the abortion laws, everything else, were there, but they had to go on a little ship across the Liverpool. And that's where these things happened. But Mum made a decision, no, I want something to happen. So we did that something. And it was amazing. Myself and the plastic surgeon did this. And this is our young girl now. Okay? So what this is a team thing, and it's the mum making a decision to say, I want to try, and I give you the permission to do so. So that's what we did. So this girl is amazing. This is not going to come up on here, but what she's saying is, thank you, Dr. Mano. Yeah? So she is so good. So we come back to quality of life. What is it? Who tells that? Is it me as a doctor? Or is it actually saying, give the child a chance? Let her have the chance to show and do what she needs to do. So within that, I start to think a little bit more. I haven't mentioned the other C word that's been kicking around as well. Okay? That's there. And what I realized in a lot of life and what we do, we talk about celebrating life. So my experience of being on an island for 35 days and being in the real hardship of life, this extreme pressure of everything thrown in. My life as a neurosurgeon, in terms of all the pressure of what you do and what you see and the hardship of life and death, what have I learned? Celebrate life. This is my son, upside down, with a Rubik's Cube, doing it in 30 seconds. He's celebrating life. Thank you.